Bonjour,
Bonjour,
comment allez-vous?
ça va?
Pouvez-vous
Ça
vous
va?
présenter s'il vous plaît?
Okay. My name is Jessica Hammer, and I am the founder of Taste of Toulouse, which is a business in Toulouse that gives food tours right now in English to help people discover all of the amazing food here in Toulouse.
Depuis quand vous faites ça?
I've done this for 2 years now.
Et comment trouvez-vous ce pays, la France?
I love living in France. My husband and I moved here almost 3 years ago, and I feel very connected to this place and the culture here. I feel like what I value in life is very in line with the life here.
Vous pouvez donner quelques exemples des choses que vous aimez ici?
I love how people in France place a priority on spending time with their friends and family. It's easy to spend 3 or 4 hours together at dinner just talking, and it's very unusual to see that in the United States. Dinners are mostly fast and over in 1 hour. Also, I think one of the things that I enjoy the most about France is that eating good food here is not reserved just for...
On peut manger de la bonne nourriture même si on ne fait pas partie de l'élite.
Exactly. Yes. It's not something, food here, good food is not something that is just reserved for the elite. Everyone here enjoys good food, and it's not, being able to enjoy good food and appreciate good food is not seen as something that is really snobby. Eating is a national pastime.
Par contre, qu'est-ce que vous préférez là-bas plutôt qu'ici?
Certain things, like air conditioning, especially in the summers here. That's difficult when air conditioning isn't as common in France. I think overall in the US people value convenience, which can be good because then you have things like air conditioning that are much more common, or stores that are open 7 days a week. But I really also appreciate in France that there are higher values than convenience. Stores are not open here on Sundays because people value having one day apart to spend with their family and their friends.
Quel métier faites-vous actuellement?
I'm a tour guide. I teach people, I guide people through the world of French food and French food culture, particularly here in Toulouse.
Depuis quand vous faites ça?
For 2 years.
Et vous pensez que vous allez rester encore combien de temps?
Indefinitely, we hope.
Qu'étudiez-vous en particulier? Vous m'avez parlé du vin.
Yes, so I've, in the United States, I worked in a cheese shop. J'étais fromagère, and so I learned a lot about cheese and how cheese is made, which I use in my job now. I've also studied wine. I'm a certified French wine scholar, and I'm studying right now for a wine certification called the W-Set Level 3.
Pourquoi le fromage et pas la viande? Qu'est-ce qui vous a attiré dans le fromage?
Because I love to eat cheese.
Ah ok. Lequel? Lesquels?
If I were stranded on a desert island with one cheese for the rest of my life, that cheese would be the Comté Reserve from Xavier, because every time I eat it, it makes me happy.
Et maintenant le vin. Lesquels vins vous plaisent le plus?
That is much more difficult, because with wine, it more depends on my mood and what I'm eating. So I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't think I have a favorite wine.
Chaque vin dépend de votre humeur. Et du coup vous jonglez entre les vins selon votre envie.
Yes. Each wine has its own perfect setting with the food and the people and the atmosphere. And so that's what makes me happy, is to have the perfect wine for that perfect setting.
Est-ce que vous avez un ou plusieurs plats préférés typiques de Chicago et typiques d'ici à Toulouse?
So this is not necessarily typical of Chicago, but my favorite meal in the United States is my mom's homemade chicken noodle soup.
And here?
And here, I appreciate cassoulet, but it's something like the Chicago style pizza. A good cassoulet is something that I eat only 2 or 3 times per year.
Ah, ok.
Because it's so rich and so heavy. I don't know if I have a favorite. And there's certain things that are the best in the winter time and certain things in the summer. No, it's not a delicate subject, but I don't know that I have a general opinion about it. Because Chicago is such a big city and it's such a varied city.
How many people, if you know?
Almost 3 million. Almost 3 million people, I think. Yeah, so there's so many people from so many different places that it's difficult for me to generalize.
Quel restaurant vous pouvez nous conseiller si on va à Chicago?
I would, if people were going to visit Chicago, I would recommend that they visit the neighborhoods and not just the city center, the downtown, because Chicago is known as a city of neighborhoods because it was settled by so many different groups of immigrants in very specific areas that we still have those areas that are known for example, a Indian and Pakistani district that has the best Indian and Pakistani food, and we have a Chinatown, and we have a Little Italy, and a Greek town, and a Swedish neighborhood, and a German neighborhood, and a Polish neighborhood, and a Korean neighborhood. So one of the things I love about Chicago is the ability to visit all of these places and to enjoy all of these different aspects of the culture.
And here, quel restaurant vous ont beaucoup plu?
There's so many good restaurants here. One of my favorite right now is Huguette, which I love because they have a great mix of very classic dishes from the cooking of Southwest France, but also they're very vegetarian friendly as well, because my husband is vegetarian, and so they have a good mix of the classic dishes and also lighter fare that is very focused on seasonal vegetables, and they do an excellent job of sourcing locally and having a circuit court. And it's just a happy place to eat. It seems like it's one of those places where you can tell that the staff there love to work there.
Thank you.
Why I started my company here.
Yes.
So I started Taste of Toulouse here because I realized that there were no ways for English speakers to learn about the food in Toulouse in their own language. And a lot of anglophones have this idea that French food is really complicated and intimidating and confusing and not accessible. It's something that is only for this like elite people that know so much about food. And I really wanted to help make it accessible and guide them and show them that it's not as confusing as they imagine, and that help them. I really wanted to help people become more comfortable with French food, with French wine, and give them ways that they could become confident in exploring on their own, and really make the food and the wine accessible, but without dumbing things down. So that is really why I started. That's why I started Taste of Toulouse, and that's my passion for what I do, is to help other people discover the food and the wine of France, and to share my love and my passion with them for that food. How did I become interested in French food and wine? About 6 years ago, my husband and I took a vacation to Paris, and this was really the first time I had ever tasted French wine and cheese, and had people talk to me about about the word terroir, the French word, which for me was just this light bulb moment, because I grew up on a blueberry farm. I'm the daughter of farmers, and we don't have the word terroir in English. There's not an equivalent word that ever exists. So the closest translation is really that each place has a specific taste. It's a taste of place. And when that word terroir was explained to me, it was this light bulb going off in my head, because it gave me a name for a concept that I had somehow in my heart always known was true. Because even to this day, I can't buy blueberries in a grocery store because they don't taste right to me, because it's not what I remember of growing up and eating blueberries from my family's blueberry farm. So that to me is one of the things that first got me really interested in French food and wine, is this philosophy of terroir and how that is expressed in all of these different foods. And it's not just the land itself, but it's also the people that work the land, because you wouldn't be able to discover the terroir of a place without people who spent years and years and years experimenting to find what worked and what was the best way to bring out this expression of terroir from a place. And so this complexity, this idea of the land and of this relationship, this deep relationship between the land and the people is one of the things that really captured my heart, captured my imagination with French food and wine, and that's one of the things that keeps me engaged and interested, and I will be exploring this for the rest of my life.
Que penses-tu de la nourriture à Chicago?
So Chicago has a few very famous dishes, like the deep dish Chicago-style pizza and the Chicago-style hot dog, also Italian beef, and I really like them, and if you go to Chicago, you should definitely try them. But what I'm more familiar with is the Midwestern food that I grew up eating in Michigan, that my mom was cooking. And it's, in some respects, it's not so very different than France, because it's a lot of meat and a lot of potatoes, pork, chicken, all of those things. And there are certain dishes that I still remember my mom making, like her chicken noodle soup and meatloaf and things, and I have fond memories of it, but I think it's not as, I think it's maybe not as open as the cuisine in France, because there are a lot of things there. I think people are used to eating a much wider variety of things in France, and where I'm from in the United States, it just seems like the spectrum is much narrower. But one thing I really miss from the US is spicy food, because the one thing that most French people don't really appreciate is very, very spicy food. And so it's difficult here to find very spicy Mexican food and very spicy Indian food like I'm used to from Chicago.
Merci beaucoup à toi et à tout ce que tu viens de nous apprendre. À bientôt. Où est-ce qu'on peut retrouver ton travail? Est-ce que tu as des réseaux en particulier sur Instagram?
Yes, you can find me at Taste of Toulouse on Instagram, and also www.tasteoftoulouse.com.
Merci beaucoup, à bientôt, bonne journée.
À bientôt.